What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean Davis. We got a very fun episode for you guys today. We got my guy Brandon. I'll put his Twitter handle in the comments down below, or description down below. You guys can go make sure you follow him on Twitter. Have a really fun conversation diving into this NFL draft. We haven't done a bunch of draft content here on the channel, but my guy Warren, who's affiliated with the channel or co-host of the channel, he's going to be doing a winners and losers reaction from the first round. We have a bunch of more fun NFL content heading into next season as well. So this is kind of a precursor of the great stuff we have here on the channel. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys please do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. We had a bunch of great NBA breakdowns. You probably have already watched my Dallas Mavericks and Clippers film breakdown previewing that series. If you haven't already, click that. I think it's actually right here. There we go. Click that little button right there. Go watch that video and come back, or finish this and go watch it. Either one. But enough jibber jabber. Let's get to our conversation with my guy Brandon. It was really, really fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into our episode with my guy Brandon, a Giants fan. Barf. All serious. What's up, Brandon? I'm really, really excited for this episode. Legitimately, it's gonna be a fun conversation about this draft class.
Yeah, happy to be here, Sean, and happy to see both of our teams are picking back to back. We'll see who's the winner and who's obviously the loser here in that situation.
We had a very unfortunate bet. Unfortunate for me, rather, that is, last season. We both, the Chargers and the Giants in 2022 playoffs, they both made it, or 23 playoffs, I guess, at that point. Both made it, and we said, we were both feeling a little confident about our teams. We said, you know what? Let's make a bet. Whose team is better next season? Put $50, a friendly bet, and came down to the last week. Herbert was hurt, obviously, and the damn Giants couldn't lose.
They beat the
what would we have done if it was a tie? What would we have done?
I guess it'd be offsetted, I guess. But we beat the sorry ass Eagles so bad that they went into Tampa Bay and just laid more of an egg when they played them too. So I would take that all day.
Oh man. I guess I'll take the pick, being able to pick a number 5 this year. I get that's a good consolation prize.
A good consolation prize, good old trade.
I guess. Right. I feel like I got robbed then.
Low-key, you did.
Wait. Hold on. Anyway, so we have some fun stuff on topic for today. So we're gonna look into our favorite players in this NFL draft class. I do want to start off first with the conversation about this quarterback class, which I think is, I don't want to use the word polarizing, but I can't find another word to use for it, because I feel you have Caleb Williams, and then after that, I feel you either really love one of these dudes or you think they suck, aka Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Spencer Rattler, even I think is getting talked about now. It's like a sleeper, or for a day 2 if you want to take a route like that.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
And then we're gonna ultimately end the episode with a fun mock draft. I am looking forward to that. So make sure you guys do stick around here throughout the entire video or podcast. This would be uploaded on podcast feeds as well. Brandon, let's start off with this quarterback class. So, do you think this is a generational quarterback class? And maybe we throw out the word generational too loosely.
No, I don't think it's generational. I think for it to be generational, Sean, there has to be multiple quarterbacks that you deem as generational. I think the wide consensus is that there's one quarterback that's generational. Drake May is a blue chip prospect, if you let other people tell it, including me. Jaden Daniels can be one or the other of a possible blue chip prospect or not, depending on who you ask. And then it starts to get real murky from there. So because there's a lot of quarterbacks that may be deemed as talented or et cetera, it very much depends on who you ask. But I think the one common denominator is that everybody will say Caleb is probably the generational one out of them all. I think it's a loaded class of quarterbacks, but that doesn't equal generational at all.
Okay, so follow me here. Would you say, and I'm assuming the answer has to be yes based off that logic, what year would it be then? 2020? The Burrow, Herbert, Jordan Love, Tua, Hurts. I'm assuming that is a generational draft quarterback class then.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I don't think none of us ever thought of it to be like that. I think
like back then we didn't think it was.
Yeah, we thought there was one guy where it was like, because he just came off of winning the Natty, they were undefeated.
Sure.
Like Joe Burrow was big time in LSU, so we knew he was the one guy where it's like, okay, he's probably going to be really great or generational, beyond blue chip. But we didn't think Justin Herbert. There were definitely people who saw Justin Herbert and were like, I don't know if he's going to be good coming out of Oregon, because he had his woes pretty much. Sure. And then Tua had his woes too. Nobody really like looked at him like, oh my God, he could be this top tier guy. And then Jalen Hurts was always, the gray area prospect, to say the least, because
he was benched. Just didn't get enough hype.
Yeah, he didn't get enough hype. And remember, he came from a smaller town and a smaller college.
Yeah.
So for Jalen Hurts, also, I was going to say, he got benched for Tua. So there goes that. Like, I mean, you didn't really know what he could be. So that was a very murky class as well. But now looking at it, of course it's generational. Absolutely.
Okay. So follow me here again then. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this year's quarterback class is going to ultimately end up, I know I have to give my take, do you think it's going to end up closer to the 2020 class or the next year's class, which actually has some parallels to it, where you have the generational guy in Trevor Lawrence and then a bunch of maybes, if that makes sense, with like Zach Wilson in that class, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, but top 3 picks in that class were all quarterbacks. I know Justin Fields was in this class. I mean, 5 quarterbacks went in the top 15, which
you're referring to 2021, right? Not 2025. Okay, you said next year.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about 2021. Yeah. Okay. So do you think this year's class, 2024, we're back in the present now, could be more like 2020s with Burrow, Herbert, etc., where we kind of look back on it now as a potentially generational class, or like 21, where we're saying, okay, like 5 quarterbacks win the top 15, but like it's Trevor Lawrence, and then it's just a bunch of
randoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it will be closer to 2020, because I think Drake May is what puts them there. And Drake May and Jaden Daniels, they're so polarizing of quarterbacks. I think in 2021, you had of course Trevor Lawrence, but then it was Zach Wilson. Then I
love Zach Wilson.
I liked him too, but I knew that throwing combine stuff was just crap.
Oh, the combine was janky.
Yeah, of course it was janky. Yeah, like you can't just base a quarterback off of his combine. That's how you end up with Zach Wilson, unfortunately. So when you look at this draft class, I think it will be comparable to 2020. I think 2021, there was too many like polarizing quarterbacks, meaning like they drew attention from both sides of either you like them or you don't like them. And I think 2020 was much more of a possible, okay, you may get a guy here, but you're not really too sure about a Trey Lance, who came from a small school, by the way. You're not too sure about a Mac Jones, because Mac Jones, if you remember with the 49ers, they were picking between the both of them, and it came down to Trey Lance. And Mac Jones ended up getting picked 15th, I believe, to New England. Yeah. So that happened, and then Zach Wilson, of course, was number 2, and then Trevor Lawrence was number 1. So yeah, I think it'll be similar to 2020, Sean. Absolutely.
Really quickly, while we're talking about that draft class, what are the takes I've had about that class that I still to this day like stand on? I always thought Atlanta should have taken Justin Fields at 4. I still stand on that take. And the reason being, like, for one, they never utilized Kyle Pitts the way they should have in the first place. And then 2, like, we saw, like, they got rid of Matt Ryan the next year. Let Justin Fields sit and learn from him. And then, like, you're in the same spot. So I always was on that side of the fence. They should have just taken Justin Fields. I mean, if he ends up a bad player or like kind of what he is now, then okay, but like at least you're not stuck with Desmond Ridder for 2 seasons because you didn't take Justin Fields.
Right. Let me say something to that real quick. They picked that draft so horribly because the
21 class or the Ridder class?
No, when they picked Kyle Pitts. And I know, like, in hindsight with Kyle Pitts, he was looked at as a guy from Florida, over 1,000 yards,
generational
receptions, generational, right? But the thing is that it was so like apropos for a team to pick a tight end that high. That was at 4, right? So it got a lot of messages and mixed messages, to say the least. And it should have been a quarterback, because if you knew you were going to drop old Matt Ryan the next year, You drafted all these weapons. It's almost like they were preparing for a quarterback without having the quarterback. How does that make sense? That's like the horse before the carriage. Like,
oh my god!
Like it just didn't really make sense. So, yeah, that was a weird time for sure.
So,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
So I brought up one of the takes. I guess one of my good takes. This is actually a class that I fully evaluated. This class the next year I did too. I think one of my bad takes with this class, I was not as high on Jalen Waddle, and I will own that.
Really,
I was not. I think I like Devonta Smith more than Waddle personally, like back then. Which obviously did not pan out well for me. Devonta's a good player, but like Jalen Waddle is when healthy.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
He's insane, and he's the wide receiver too in a loaded stack wide receiver room that the Dolphins have.
Yeah.
So they did the right thing picking him 5th overall. Nothing wrong with picking a receiver that high because different position, much more needing of a position to have elite talent in nowadays. So it's not a luxury pick anymore to pick a wide receiver high.
I think so. To actually answer the question from my end, finally, I'm probably gonna say no, but I do think like if this does, to Brandon's point, kind of turn out to be a class like 2020. I really wouldn't be surprised. Like, dog, Drake May can be really freaking good, and I think I think any notion that he doesn't go to, I think it's freaking insane. If Washington had a brain, I would just take Drake May and not over freaking think it. Because I feel like that's what they're doing. It's just overthinking. And maybe they're trying. It's all smoke and mirrors. And come draft night, the pick was always obvious, and they're gonna sprint to the podium or whatever and take Drake May. Maybe right, but I think he's just a stud. He has a cannon of an arm, big dude that also has some ability to him. But then like I think there's a pretty high chance that like one of the other 3 guys, or maybe if we're going to include Penix, turns out to be pretty good. Like whether it's Jaden Daniels in the right spot, whether it's JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix in the right situation, either very much more of a system player for the both of those two, or a Penix who's just an older guy for sure. But like I think it's really, really likely that one of those other dudes turns out to be a really good player. So it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up like 2020. But again, 2020 has 5 top 20 players and top 20 starters and 3 top 10 starters in Herbert, Burrow, and Jordan Love. In my opinion, is probably like number 10. So yeah, I'm excited for this class though.
Yep, me too. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting one.
All right, so let's dive in now to some of our favorite players in this draft. So you can kind of call this a draft, literally here. We put together a few lists. We're going to go with 3 players each here, right? We're going to pick our favorite players in this draft. So are my guys, if you will. Brandon, who's your first pick? Favorite players in this class?
So my first pick may be a surprising one. It's one of the he's a guard / tackle hybrid type of guy, but it's Graham Barton.
I was just listening to a pod about Graham Barton.
Really?
He's nice.
Really, dude. I love this guy. He really plays with such tenacity on the line, and his versatility is really good, but he has great hands, great feet. And I think he can be an absolute blue chip type of offensive lineman as a prospect. Now, I know like he may be picked in the 20s, I want to say, in the first round because of all the other talent up front. But whoever gets him is going to get a gem of a player. He's going to be really, really good. So that is my number 1 guy.
So I am going to go with maybe it's just something in me about California. And me covering the Lakers, being a Chargers and Dodgers fan, it's just something about the LA air. I'm gonna go Laitu Latu from UCLA.
Oh, good pick.
Okay, edge rusher, super productive guy, but is just a really like technically refined player. Great bend on the edge. I think he's a solid run defender as well. I think some teams are gonna get scared off by some of the medical stuff, but if he was fully healthy, he's a guy that could sneak into the top 10. I think he's a really, really good player. And I'm curious where we have him going in our mock draft coming up. So I'm going to go Laitu Latu from UCLA.
Yeah, I like him too. I think if you believe it or not, before all the draft stuff blew up with all the quarterbacks and stuff, he was actually supposed to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
He was mocked there a lot out of UCLA, and unfortunately, he just dropped all of a sudden. He was the top edge. Him, Jared Verse, Dallas Turner. Also, so it was some edge talent that's ironically going to drop here. So yeah, I like him as well. Good pick.
Who's your second pick?
My second pick, and this may be cliche, but Joe Alt.
Okay.
Another offensive lineman, but my next pick is not.
I think I know who you're going with for the Giants.
No. Listen, I like Joe Alt though, man. Joe Alt is that's a blue chip prospect. That is one of the best offensive line prospects that I've seen in a while, probably since Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
So I loved him too, but I think Joe Alt is Notre Dame. Notre Dame. They just make all of these offensive linemen, and it's they grow from trees and they become stars, except the guy that the 49ers drafted, McGlinchey. He sucks.
He's just average.
Yeah, he's average, very average. But I mean, you can name plenty of prospects from Notre Dame that are offensive linemen that have blossomed in the NFL.
Yeah.
So when you look at Joe Alt and his tape, he's really, really your prototype for a cornerstone left tackle. Does everything well. Run blocking, pass protection. He is what any quarterback would dream to have for blindside protection. So he's my number 2.
I think that first off, that is a great pick. So my next pick is, and maybe I'm going too much to players I've watched in the past. And I brought up how I personally really actually did an eval for the 21 class. And a player I loved in that class was Caleb Farley, who unfortunately had a bunch of medical concerns,
back issues,
and a very popular comp for this year's draft to a guy like a Caleb Farley is Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, who is a freak athlete, right? A 4.28 40, which is ridiculous. Super smart zone corner, super just fluid as well, and just in terms of his movements, I think you get him in the buildings. Like I said, smart guy, really freaking good athlete. He has the long speed to keep up with some of the faster receivers in the NFL nowadays. I'm a big fan of Nate Wiggins. The tackling and stuff like that, not elite ball skills, which I think might be something you would want to work on at the next level with them. But just the athletic traits, the IQ, especially in zone, and the ability to just follow around the number one receiver. I love Nate Wiggins personally, Brandon.
Yeah, I like him too. I mean, he's up there with Cooper DeJean, who's supposed to be the top cornerback, as well as Kool-Aid McKinstry as well. Nate Wiggins was also a guy. Yeah, him too.
Terrion Arnold. Yeah, this is a really good corner class.
Yeah, this is an underrated corner class. Again, Nate Wiggins was also a guy before all the stuff went down with this with last year's college season. He was looked at as a top pick for this year as well. Ironically enough. So anybody who's going to get him is going to get a real good corner, and he should be a first round pick, no doubt.
All right, who is what is your last pick?
Okay. Listen, it's going to be one of the receivers for me.
Oh no,
one of the top ones actually.
Oh no,
and listen, I know we're probably not going to get the guy, but I'm gonna be watching him a lot.
MHJ?
Say it again.
MHJ?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. is literally if there wasn't so much quarterbacks in this draft, the way that it's set up, he would be a number 2, number 3 overall pick.
Yeah,
for sure. That's how talented he is. He would have gotten picked as high as Larry Fitzgerald did when he was drafted. Calvin Johnson. That goes to tell you the caliber of wide receiver he is. I mean, I don't even have to really go into detail about the guy. He's that world renowned of a wide receiver. So hopefully he goes to 6 with the Giants. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. After my last pick, we'll go straight to our mock draft.
Yes, sir.
Which is funny. You say MHJ, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to go with probably the consensus number 2 receiver in this draft class. I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors, who is also just so freaking good, man. I think the long speed, good ball skills. If it wasn't for Marvin Harrison Jr., I think we'd be talking about Malik Neighbors a lot more. And I think he has true number 1 alpha receiver upside. He's going to be a freaking stud. Maybe he gets paired up with Justin Herbert, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we will. I just want to say one thing about Malik Neighbors. His speed and his elusiveness is really special. His yak ability is special. Yep. He's one of those guys where it's like he's going to terrorize a cornerback in much different ways than just one. That's how really, really great he is. And he's an alpha. He's a dog. He's an X. So whoever gets him definitely will be lucky.
All right, mock draft time. So how this is going to work, we are taking the seat of all 32, I almost said 30, thinking NBA, 32 NFL teams here. And I mean, there's a couple of teams that don't have first round picks, and we're going to go alternating. So I'm going to have the first pick. The goal is we're trying to make it where like I can pick for the Chargers, Brady gets picked for the Giants, wherever he gets picked for your favorite teams or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we can do trades. So there is a reasonable trade down or trade up, even you control one of the teams that is also allowed. But yeah, I think we just get this thing started, and I'm not going to waste any time. There's no explanation. Yeah. Caleb Williams is going to the Chicago Bears. The draft starts, I think, at 2, and some probably would say at 3. So
at 3, yeah.
Brandon, is it Drake May? What are we thinking here?
If I was Washington, I would go with Drake May. I would pick him right here. I wouldn't waste no more time or anything. I think Drake May is the guy, and there'll be no questions about it. Yeah.
All right. So this might be a hot take. We're the Patriots on the clock here.
Okay.
And when you look at this draft class, or you look at the Patriots roster, and I just screw the draft class for a second. When we throw in our quarterback, our rookie quarterback, we throw him into a new situation. Mm-hmm. Ideally, we want it to be an advantageous spot for him, right?
Absolutely.
Nothing about this Patriots situation is advantageous for Drake May. If Drake May's at 3, you almost have to take him, like a boomer bust guy like Jaden Daniels, or like I mean, if you wanted to go JJ McCarthy, I guess technically could probably fit, but I'm just going to set up the table for next year, and I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3 here. Wow. Maybe that's a hot take, but I'm not going quarterback yet. I'm just going to kind of say, Jacoby Brissett, here's the job for a year. We're going to continue building this team up for when our rookie quarterback does come in, presumably next year. We can really say, okay, we have our alpha, we have our X, we are rebuilding the rest of this roster out, and here you go. Instead of saying, hey, 3rd overall pick, here's a trash offensive line, a trash receiver core, a rookie coordinator and head coach, and a rebuilding defense. So I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay. That's a bold one. But I would have traded down if it was something available. Fair. But you know what? To start the rebuild with an X receiver, a guy like Marvin Harrison is hard to find. So, okay. I don't mind that. Now, for the Cardinals, since this all happened the way it did, I'm taking phone calls. Their general manager came out and said about a week or 2 ago that they're open for sale. So the first and obvious thing I would do is call the Vikings. We know how much they have. You know how much is available to you. Pull it up for me if you don't mind. Oh, it's already there. So if I am the Cardinals, I'm asking for 11. Yes, 11-23. And then go to 2025 if it's right there. Round 1. Ooh. 3 first-round picks. I know it's a lot, but it's also a lot to move from 11 to 4. Yeah, that's a very, very, very that's a very, very crystal clear, huge pick for the Vikings. So it'll cost you 3 first rounds. You gotta give up nothing else because remember they don't have a 2nd-round pick next year. The Vikings.
Now they had a 2nd-round pick next year.
Yeah, then I would do that. Yeah, sure. But if I'm the Cardinals, I want it all. I want to rebuild this roster for Kyler Murray as fast as I can. So I'm going to mail it in. The Vikings will trade up officially. The trade is accepted, as we thought. And I'm going to...
I'm assuming we're going... Go ahead, sorry.
We're going with Jaden Daniels here. Because the Vikings situation, granted, they haven't paid their wide receiver 1 yet. And granted, their defense is definitely an issue, to say the least.
Yeah.
This is one of the best situations for a quarterback to go into. Their offensive line is absolutely above average. Yeah. You have a good left tackle. You have a solid right tackle. Your guards are okay. And you have weapons. You have plenty of weapons. Hawkinson.
Hawkinson's coming back.
Yeah, Hawkinson, Addison, JJ.
Great play caller.
Yeah, great play caller as well. So you have a lot of talent there for a quarterback to work with. So Jaden Daniels will definitely be lucky to be there in that situation.
Okay. So if I am the Los Angeles Chargers, I am incredibly bummed out right now because I really wanted to trade down with the Vikings. Okay, so now you're kind of thinking, is there a team that is desperate enough to come up and get JJ McCarthy? That is kind of what you're thinking here.
Okay.
Now, maybe Denver could, but there's two things. One, how likely is you trade with a divisional rival?
Right.
One. And two, if I'm Denver, I think I could probably just sit and wait for Bo Nix, if anything, honestly. Like this new, I mean, no, I really think
the Raiders possibly, but how much will the Raiders really give up? And then the divisional rival too.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. So we're just gonna stay put, and we are going to get Justin Herbert some damn weapons. We're gonna go get Malik Neighbors. I already talked about him. I love him a ton. Stud of a player. And in a world where it does pan out like this, I think this is the only scenario it is. Like Malik Neighbors still here. The Vikings already traded up in this scenario. They trade up to get Jaden Daniels with Arizona. You just take the best weapon available, and it is, in my opinion, Malik Neighbors, who can be a legit alpha receiver, one of the best receivers in the game potentially in about 5 years or so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it'd be a great pick. Chargers don't have much receiver talent anymore. So why not start with a blue chip star talent like Malik Neighbors?
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be a great pick for them. Now my beloved Giants. So I know the consensus for everyone is that, oh my God, go get a quarterback. Daniel Jones sucks. Oh my God,
JJ McCarthy's so right there.
And there is the side where it's like, yes, we can get JJ McCarthy. We can get Michael Penix or anyone else. But you know what? This team has really been lacking an X receiver for God knows how long, probably since Odell Beckham Jr. And so it's been 10 years. You need to really solidify that spot. You're lucky to be here at 6, and there happens to be a guy from Washington that is sitting there for you. So I'm going to draft Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze is one of the star 3 receivers out there, and some people have him as 2. Some people may have him as 1. But regardless, you can say you're getting a blue chip X type of receiver, a guy that can bully cornerbacks, a guy that has a great catch radius, a guy that high points the ball very well, and a guy who's pretty much a bully at the line of scrimmage. I would love that if I was the Giants. So home run pick to me.
Great pickup there for the Giants. If I'm the Titans, this feels like one of the more obvious picks. I'm just going to go Joe Alt. I mean, Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach, Brian Callahan, the current head coach of the Titans. I mean, I don't even really want to explain it that much. He's the best tackle, best offensive lineman in this draft. I mean, we're going to give Will Levis a shot here, and we can't do that without giving him we keep saying the word blue chip, but a real blue chip offensive lineman in this class. The Falcons are on the clock. A very interesting spot here. Is this where the first defensive player goes off the board, or do you take a look at somebody else on the offensive side here, Brandon?
Well,
do you take JJ McCarthy and play him post Kirk Cousins?
Wouldn't that be a funny one? No, I don't think you get JJ McCarthy. I think you either get an offensive player where it helps Kirk Cousins right now, or you go and you help out the defense. So what I will be doing is getting an edge rusher. And the one that I will be getting, if you can go there real quick, would happen to be Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner's good against the run. He's a good pure defensive end. Sets the edge well, pass rushes. Alabama does that pretty well for their defenses. So I think Atlanta will be very much pleased to get a guy like that.
All right. So on the clock now, the Chicago Bears. They still have. Let's pull up their roster right quick, because they still have Cole Kmet.
They do. I know who I would pick if it was me. I know who I would pick.
So, maybe you go get like a third receiver. You're gonna run a lot of 11 personnel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even the offensive line. I think you're probably waiting as of right now. I think. All right, you know what?
Down.
Do you trade down here? Actually, I think we are going to trade down. I think a team that makes sense actually is Denver. So we're going to trade down. We're going to trade down.
Okay.
Denver's going to come up and get their quarterback. We're just going to do 12 and future second, you think? Come up 3 spots?
Yeah. I think that would work.
12 in the future second, come up 3 spots. Get your guy, you know what's good. We're throwing like this extra. I think that's a 4th.
Yeah, because they don't have a 2nd round pick.
Yeah, so we'll throw that in there too. So Denver comes up to get their quarterback, and we are going to take JJ McCarthy. We're going to take JJ McCarthy. We're going to go from there. A great system guy, plays his structure nicely. I think Sean Payton's going to like his decision making a ton. He gets crapped on a ton, yeah, but I think if in the right situation, he can still become a pretty good NFL quarterback.
And what's going for him also is youth. His youth, arm strength isn't really bad at all. His decision making is solid. He definitely will be somebody that you need to take your time with as far as molding him to the type of guy you want to be. So, yeah, I think it's a very solid deal for the Broncos.
All right, we are picking here number 10, the New York Jets. Who are you taking here, Brandon?
Oh, this is an easy pick for me. I know there's a lot of Jets fans that possibly want a weapon or possibly want to tackle because they just got Tyron Smith for a 1-year deal. But Rodgers isn't getting any younger. And I think you need to put as much talent offensively as you could. I'm all for protecting the guy, but I'm also all for scoring. So click on that guy right there, please. You know who it is.
The cursor is already ready. Didn't even have to move.
Yeah, didn't even have to move. I don't give a rat's ass who they have at tight end over there. I think it was some guy from Ohio State last year that they drafted, or 2 drafts before them. But Brock Bowers is a talent that the Jets probably can't believe that they're getting because of all the other players that are ahead of them. He's a blocker. He's really crisp of a route runner. Great hands, high points the ball, like I said about Adunze. But for a tight end, like when you're going to line him up in all different spots, he's a matchup issue for anybody. So, yeah, safeties, linebackers, corners, you'll have your hands full with that guy.
All right. So, pick here. We are at pick number 11. We are picking with the Arizona Cardinals now. Yay. We are going to get some edge help here. Okay. I would consider Quinyon Mitchell here at 11, truly, but actually, you know what? I think I am. I think I'm just gonna take Quinyon Mitchell. I'm gonna take Quinyon Mitchell, arguably the best corner in this draft class. He's so freaking good, man. And I mean, defense is rebuilding. We're gonna give our head coach. His name is now for some reason escaping me. Jonathan Gannon. There we go. We're gonna give Jonathan Gannon a fresh new, just defensive chess piece. Again, freak, really good athlete, really just good ball skills, and his way to match up with the best receivers as well. We're gonna go Quinyon Mitchell here at 11.
Yeah, great pick. Again, the Cardinals need to rebuild on a lot of things, but corner is starting to become an essential position. So yes, I like the pick.
Reminds you a lot like a guy like a Marshawn Lattimore almost.
Yeah,
when he was coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any team would take this for that value at 11.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then you have another pick too.
Ran a 4.33, and then we have another pick later on. Yeah.
Actually, the Cardinals have 3 first-round picks, I believe.
Wait, 11, 23, 27. That's right.
See? Yeah, they do. So I think that's a great pick. The Bears. So they traded down. You got a 2nd next year, and you got a 3rd as well. What I like for them in this situation, you just drafted your quarterback. Get your quarterback weapons. And if you can go to wide receiver for me, please. There is a guy that's right and above him. Yeah, there you go. You're just hovering above his name. Perfect for their situation. Brian Thomas Jr., please come on down to Chicago.
Such a good deep threat. I honestly thought about him at 9, but in this scenario, we're just going to take the trade back. And still
take the player. Yeah.
And still get him, honestly, at 12. Because like I said, that's honestly who I thought about. I was even thinking about Brian Thomas Jr. or Latu Latu at 9. And you just trade back, you get the guy you're probably thinking about anyway. At the end of the day.
Yeah. So
Bears
get a good one.
13 and we are the Las Vegas Raiders. I think you just take Bo Nix.
Really? Okay.
I think we're just gonna take Bo Nix. I don't feel great about that. But I think we are going to take Bo Nix. We're going to take Bo Nix. Plays with this structure nicely. Honestly, just really is able to get from one read to the next really, really nicely. I do like Bo Nix. I think he does get crapped on a bit. But we are going to take Bo Nix. And our division rival, Denver Broncos, traded up to get their guy. We're able to sit pat and still get one of them and Bo Nix. And that's the pick there for us and the Raiders.
That's a shocker. I'm not going to lie. But okay. All right. Bo Nix it is. Now to New Orleans. All right. Their situation is very weird. They had a lot of dead.
I'm so glad you have New Orleans. I don't know why.
Yeah, this. I wish I had the Colts because I know exactly where I would go. Now the Saints. They're coming off of a big problem with all the dead cap in the world that they had, and they're trying to shed as much of that as possible through these times. Now, as far as the positional stuff goes, they can go on a myriad of places. You can go quarterback, wide receiver, tackle, D-line. I am going to give them Latu Latu. That is going to be my pick for them. I know they can use a receiver, but you need to see what you have in what's the Ohio State's receiver's name, Sean?
Chris Olave. Love
Chris Olave. Yes. Chris Olave is excellent. He's an excellent guy, but I think you can get more wide receiver talent throughout this draft. And I think a guy like Latu Latu is not just going to be there when you pick next time. So that's my pick for them.
All right, the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes, Indianapolis.
Not the Indiana Pacers. Shout out NBA playoffs if you want.
Get out of basketball mode, Sean.
I know, I'm sorry. The Colts here at 15. We're gonna quickly take a peek. No, we're not going wide receiver then. I'm gonna go Terry Arnold here. Help out this defense. Okay. Help continue rebuilding this secondary. We're going to consider Ronaldo. What were you thinking? Weapon for Anthony Richardson or offensive line for Anthony Richardson?
No, I was actually thinking DB too, but Cooper DeJean. Yeah. That was going to be my guy there.
I'm going to go Terry Arnold.
Terry Arnold was a very solid pick too. So I think that's a good one. Seattle. Oh, gosh. Oh, dear. Now, Seattle is in a very interesting situation. They need guard. They need center. Their offensive line is very much...
Graham Barton?
Possibly. But I'm just going to go on ahead and just say they can choose a center or a guard. Go to the centers to me real quick, because there's a certain guy that I'm looking at.
Jackson Powers Johnson?
Ding, 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 ding. Jackson Powers Johnson. Your prototypical... yes, I'm taking him. And maybe look at it as a reach to get a center so high. Yes, I understand everyone. But nowadays, you need to have a good sound center to really protect the quarterback from any sort of stunts, twist, etc. Because he's more than likely the guy calling all of the defensive, attacks against the offensive line. So having a good center is really, really good. CC Travis Frederick before he retired, and then the Cowboys offensive line went to crap eventually. So yeah, very, very important for them to get a guy like that. So that is my pick.
We are in an interesting spot here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's see. So Sean, what direction we want to go here? Take a look at their roster one more time.
I know how I would draft here.
I know we just picked up Eric Armstead. We just picked up Eric Armstead defensively here. Maybe you go Cooper DeJean here.
That would be a good pick because he slid in this draft. He's
honestly can play. I mean, he could probably play. He can play the slot for you. He can play safety. He can maybe develop even and be that outside corner of the future. I think I just talked myself into. We're gonna take Cooper DeJean here at 17. There's a couple other players I was thinking about maybe just continuing to bulk up that defensive line and take either Byron Murphy or Noon here. But we're going to take Cooper DeJean, and we're going to rock out with that.
Yep. Take best player available, move on. Now it's the Cincinnati Bengals, and this is a rather easy pick for me. You go to the tackles, and I'm going to give them Olu Fashanu. Yes,
all right.
I'm gonna give Olu was looked at as a top 10 pick. He has dropped because all of the other noise that's been transpiring in the draft. But I think it would be a home run pick for the Bengals if they're able to get a blue chip talent like Olu.
All right, and if I am the Los Angeles Rams, I'm sprinting to the podium. I'm taking Byron Murphy. I mean,
great pick.
what better way? I mean, Aaron Donald's the first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 to 3 defensive talent of all time. But if we're drafting a player, I mean, there's very few guys who can replace Aaron Donald with better than a guy like a Byron Murphy. He's going to come in day one and be a stud athlete, great get off as a pass rusher. Byron Murphy, and with this defense, I know they lost Raheem Morris, but with like a very similar system here, he's going to be so good. I really, really like this pickup.
Yeah, I like it too. Great pick. And nowadays in the NFL, it's loaded with defensive tackle talent nowadays. So getting him would be a great pick.
You're a run defender too.
Yeah, great run defender. Absolutely. The Steelers. This is a very, very easy pick for me too. Go to the tackles for me really quick. I'm not going to pick the guys that you see on the screen. It's another guy that I think will fit their system very perfectly. Amarius Mims, Georgia. That is the guy that I'm giving him. Big, big athletic tackle. They just drafted Broderick Jones last year. They moved him around. He's going to be looked at as their right tackle. Amarius Mims will come in immediately, be their day one left tackle. I think he has the skills to play it, and I think that the Steelers will be delighted that he fell to them.
All right. Yep. Amarius Mims, like that pickup a lot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dolphins here on the clock. I think we're just gonna take Talise Fuaga. We're gonna say we're gonna keep this run of tackles going here. 3 of the last 4 picks have been tackles. We're just gonna try our damnness to protect Tua. That is basically the logic there. You could definitely win with Troy Fautanu. I probably just botched his name. I apologize.
Yeah.
Or J.C. Latham even, who has more flexibility as the guy that could probably play guard even too. But we're gonna take Fuaga, and we're gonna call it there with the Dolphins.
And I get to pick for this this team.
One of the funny parts that we noticed before we started recording was that Brandon's going to pick for if you haven't noticed already, Brandon's picking for the entire NFC East.
Yeah, I hate all those teams, to be honest with you. So I should be wishing on their downfall here, but I'm pretending I'm GM. So if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, you have a lot of ways in which this can go. A.J. Brown may be on his way out. Your linebacker core sucks. They can't cover worth a damn. And then you have the situation of your corners and your safeties and etc. So in this situation, if you can go down for me, Sean, in the names. And so in this situation, I hate to do this.
I know where I would go.
I'm picking Nate Wiggins.
I would have went Nate Wiggins.
Yeah, I'm picking Nate Wiggins for them. I don't think Bradbury's on the team anymore, is he?
No, I think is he? I think he is. But like he had the down year last year, obviously.
Okay, yeah. Nate Wiggins is going to be a corner that you can immediately put in to the Eagles situation.
Yeah, Bradbury's still there.
Okay, yeah. Bradbury won't be there much longer, and then I don't know if the situation will be like with Slay. But you immediately get a young corner to replenish your secondary group. You could have got safety too, but I think the corner is much more important in this situation for him to have more time to play when Bradbury's gone. So yeah, Nate Wiggins is my pick.
All right, so we're the Arizona Cardinals. So we earlier took Quinyon Mitchell, and here on the clock at 23. Ooh, there's another player I really like. There's a couple of players I really like. So we're gonna wait on a particular position, but we're gonna also kind of just sprint to the board here, and we're gonna take Johnny Noon from Illinois. just a guy that we are essentially just revamping this defense here with our first 2 picks. We have a couple more picks coming up. Obviously, we pick in a few picks from now. So yeah, I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, we trade down, we get future, we get another first next year too in the process, and we take the second best interior guy in this draft class. We take arguably CB1, excuse me. You feel really, really good about this draft so far.
Excellent draft for the Cardinals. They're having a fantastic one in this made-up one. but I would have done the same thing. Excellent pick. He slid, but they were able to go and snag him up. Unfortunate for the poor Cowboys. Oh my, poor them. Now, if I were in their situation, there's one specific guy that I mentioned earlier, and it's going to be Graham Barton. These guys for the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys, they are the best at developing offensive linemen. Graham Barton would come in immediately and help that team immediately. The Cowboys are known for offensive linemen, and I think they get a really good one here. So Graham Barton would be my pick for them.
So the Green Bay Packers, we are on the clock, and with the Packers team, there's 2 directions I kind of think about going with here. Packers. All right, this might be a reach. But we are going to take an upside pick. We're going to take Xavier Legette. I'm joking. We're not taking Xavier Legette. But I am really considering taking Zach Frazier.
Interesting.
The only thing about taking a guy like Zach Frazier, who legitimately is good, I don't know. You know what? I think we're going to pass on Zach Frazier. I mean, at this point, best player available. Onanu is still, he's right there. I did not mean to show the PFF thing there, but we're just going to take him. And we'll figure out the fit later. But, I mean, a guy that arguably could go inside the top 20. I mean, for sure, I should go in the top 20. We're just going to take Onanu there at 25 to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. Got to protect Herbert. Oh my gosh. Love as much as you can. Now for the Buccaneers. All right. Now, this is where it starts to get a little murky because Buccaneers can go in a plethora of ways here. Go back to guard for me, please. And I'm going to get the guy that you didn't take, and that would be Zach Frazier. They need guard help. They receive guard help. And they'll get a center sometime in the draft, but they get a very good guard here. They also have center upside that they can move to center in the future. So I do like that pickup a ton. My pick here for this is an easy one
for the Arizona Cardinals. Oh man. I'm going to take this pick. I'm going to sprint. I'm taking Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'm taking Adonai Mitchell. I thought about him at 23, but I was like, there's no way Johnny Newton's still there when you get to 27. I was fairly confident that you're either going to get Adonai Mitchell or like a Ladd McConkey here at 27.
Mm-hmm.
Adonai Mitchell's here, and I think Arizona might be the winners of the draft because of the trade down. You get another first next season. You are really kind of starting to fast track your rebuild. So we're going to take Adonai Mitchell. We're going to call it a day.
Yep. And the Cardinals would have won the draft by far. 3 first-rounders, and you pick talent everywhere. Yeah. So I think that'll be good. Now, the Buffalo Bills.
I think I know where I would go here for Buffalo.
The elephant in the room is that the wide receiver talent is starting to diminish here. So show me the wide receivers, please. Now, you have Troy Franklin. You have Ladd. You have Keon Coleman. The guy that I want to go for their situation is going to be Keon Coleman.
Okay. Some would say that might be a reach.
Yeah, some might say it's a reach, but I think that when you look at it for the Bills situation, the Bills probably want to get a big body guy that could be a receiver that can go and just get the ball, kind of like Des Bryant. Not saying he's Des Bryant, but Des Bryant was that receiver that, like, you throw the ball to him, and if he's in the vicinity, he's going to go snatch it. And so I think them getting a big body guy for Josh Allen to throw to, outside of course, the guy they drafted last year with the tight end's name. Dalton something.
Dalton Connect. Wait, no, not
Kincaid.
Dalton. Jesus. Kincaid. I promise you, I'm thinking football. I said Dalton Connect thinking basketball, but I promise you I was thinking Dalton Kincaid. I promise,
Kincaid.
Guys.
Yeah. So I think you get a wide receiver like that. That's a great start. I know you could have gotten Troy Franklin, but I'm looking at like the situation that they have. They have a lot of slot guys, like Khalil Shakir, for example. I think you want to solidify getting an X guy, and I think Keon Coleman can be that for Josh Allen. So that would be my pick.
Well, you're right back up on the clock because I'm taking Jared Verse.
Ooh, that's a great pick for the Lions. Oh man,
I don't even. You can make a hell of an argument that he should not be there, and I would probably agree with you. Just how the board felt. Again, I'm sprinting. I literally just sprinted to the pick. I didn't even. Brandon was finishing his sentence, and I was already clicking on Jared.
You already knew. That's funny. I got Baltimore. Okay, so Baltimore's like that team, like they just lose talent and then still be good because they know how to get more talent. I'm not looking at offensive line at all. Defensive line, you can make a case for. This is a very, because it would be considered a reach to get some of these guys with the defensive line at this point. If Newton fell to the Ravens, that would be the picture perfect pick for the Ravens. I think I might consider a trade down here, possibly. If there's somebody who would want to trade up for someone. Maybe the Chiefs, maybe the 49ers.
I'm looking into the second round even now. Like,
I
mean, like, who do is there somebody where like the Panthers would really want to come up for?
Well, they're picking 33, right?
Yeah, they're picking at 33. So you would be jumping up 3 spots. Like, do the Panthers come up and no, they have a.
Well, here's the problem though. The Panthers don't have a second round pick next year. That goes to Chicago.
I think you might just be stuck here.
You might be stuck here, yeah. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give them Troy Franklin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Lamar another weapon. I know, like, just double dipping pretty much, but it's not like Zay Flowers is a failure. I just think if you want to get more wide receiver talent, have at it and go and get the best player available. It wouldn't make sense to get JC Latham considering they're already set off an offensive line. Unless you want to get rid of Ronnie Staley, and his contract is a lot. So, that's my pick.
All right. I think with the board falling like this, and this might not be the most scheme-y type of fit, but this guy is a mauler in the run game. Maybe not the best athlete in the world, but I think if I am the San Francisco 49ers here, I'm going to try to help shore up our offensive line, and we're gonna go get JC Latham here.
Ah, interesting. Okay. I actually was gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry for them.
It was between the 2 Alabama guys for sure. It's either JC Latham or Kool-Aid. Cherry flavored, preferably.
Okay, so now that you're the Chiefs, I know you're probably pissed off. You weren't able to get Troy Franklin. Your other receiver that you drafted last year happens to be into speed racing. So he's going to be in suspension mode for quite a while.
Guy.
Yeah, probably the whole year, as a matter of fact. So
are we thinking Ladd?
You know what? I was thinking Ladd. I was thinking tackle possibly because I don't trust Donovan Smith, or I don't trust what's the other guy from Jacksonville? Oh gosh,
name's escaping me.
Yeah, name's escaping me too. So what I'm gonna do here for the Chiefs, I'm gonna actually give them Ladd. I'm gonna give them a receiver for the very last pick because I think he gets snatched up immediately in the second round, and that would be my guy for Mahomes to have. So yeah, Ladd.
So look over. What's this new thing called? Awards. Oh, never mind. I thought that was something cool. Never mind. It's not.
No, it's not.
But looking over our mock draft, you got Caleb Williams. I think. I mean, for me, I think it's obviously the no brainer, like duh. You get Quinion Mitchell. Are you my back?
Yeah, I think you're back. Yeah, Sean, talk. I can hear you.
Wait, am I good?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, you were freezing.
Wow.
Go ahead.
All right. Anyway, restart that. So I think the obvious no duh winner is Arizona. You trade back, you get a future first, you get arguably the cornerback one in this class, you get a stud athlete in Johnny Newton, and then you get Adonai Mitchell to give you your receiver room some upside. Brandon, is there another team here? Do you see the way their first round at least panned out? You're like, okay, that's a really good fit or just a really, really good pick for that team in particular.
Brian Thomas Jr. for the Bears. I think for them to trade down and to get more assets next year, you have 2 second-round picks next year, courtesy of the Panthers, courtesy of the Broncos in this situation, and you're able to snag up Brian Thomas to help Caleb Williams within having a very much probably the best situation for a rookie quarterback to go into.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Caleb would have the best situation we've ever seen for a rookie quarterback. So I think for you to give it Brian Thomas Jr. to really help him and for him to be so good of a player, I think that's a really, really good pick for the Bears if it comes to fruition, even if it's picked at 9 without the trade down.
Yeah, because like I said, I thought about Brian Thomas Jr. at 9. I think I really liked Byron Murphy for the Rams. Like I said, replacing Aaron Darnold, if you will, with Byron Murphy's it's a tall task, but I think Byron Murphy is a really, really good player. It's going to be a great fit there in LA. I also like the fit of, or not even really the fit. I like the aggressiveness of Minnesota here. It cost them a lot, literally, but I mean, we talk about situations for the quarterback to walk into. It's the reason why I didn't pick Jane Daniels at 3, because I think Jane Daniels, if he goes into a situation like that, is more likely to be a bust because the situation is so bad. You put him in Minnesota, great playmakers, a good offensive line with 2 stud tackles, and a really freaking good play caller and Kevin O'Connell. And like Jaden Daniels has a big opportunity to succeed. So it makes you giving up that the extra draft capital all the more worth it, because you're putting him in a good situation where he is more likely to be successful. So I really like those 2 fits as well specifically.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit for him, and especially with Aaron Donald being retired, Aaron Donald can go over there and help him develop as well. I mean, it would be a huge fit for them. And I mean, if he turns out to be really, really good, that's another threat you got to deal with for a long time if you're in the NFC West, which there's a lot of talented teams there. Well, the 49ers and maybe Seattle, and Arizona's on the rise. So
Arizona's on the rise, especially with the draft like this. And you still have the second round, and I mean, the rest of the draft, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. So Arizona would win by far. Now, let me ask this question. Who do you think would lose in this first round mock that we made?
I think one of the biggest losers in this first round mock, I think one of the biggest losers in this first round mock draft is honestly a team like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think here. Like, I actually think like a team like Buffalo that's kind of reaching maybe for Keon Coleman. Because you're missing out on Adonai Mitchell, you're missing out on, like, there is a world, like, there's some mocks that Brian Thomas Jr. falling. I think if you're the Chargers, you are really freaking bummed out that the Cardinals sniped you, if you will, and the Vikings jumped you to go get actually, if you're the Chargers, you actually probably want Jaden Daniels to go top 3, because if Jaden Daniels goes top 3, that means it's more, likely that the Cardinals just take Marvin Harrison Jr. And you're able to successfully pull off the trade back. So you still end up with Malik Neighbor, so we're kind of pulling hairs here. Overall, though, I think it was a really, really, really good draft.
I think so too. I think we did a good a good evaluation of these teams and which is the best fit, and then what would be like a really, really good talented player in their in the first round for that specific team. So yeah, I think it was really, really good. So yeah, good job, Sean. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, man. Thanks so much. That was fun.
Yeah.
And Brandon, anything you want to plug before we let you get out of here, man?
I don't have anything. You could follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @BSupreme_. So that's BEE Supreme_. You can see me shit talking the Giants, shit talking the Yankees, shit talking, just
He's
teams
really
that I
a
root
bad
for.
fan.
Yeah,
really
I'm a horrible fan. Yeah, I hate all my teams. They all make me miserable. So if you want to see funny tweets in that, you can go ahead and follow me. Sean is the guy here that you should all be following, though. He's the guy. NFL, especially NBA, he does it all, especially for Lakers talk as well.
Follow Brandon. Follow.
I plugged you in my plug.
Right.
Pause, but I
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah. But yeah, this was good, man. Hopefully the NFL draft is exciting for all of our teams and nobody makes a bogus choice. Like if JJ McCarthy goes to the Giants, you may never hear from me again.
Dog, that 1 week stretch where all the media were pumping up the Chargers taking JJ McCarthy, I almost deleted Twitter.
Dude, that was a crazy time. There was a time where nobody thought about JJ McCarthy. No one thought of it.
McCarthy was like a consensus 2nd round pick
for
the entire cycle. Last month comes up. Oh, JJ McCarthy. He might get taken 3 overall. What?
Yeah. And I always tell people with JJ McCarthy, because I do want to bring this up before we get on out of here. I think it's a big red flag if a quarterback is a riser and he's not a consensus top 4 or top 5 pick. I think if you look at the past situations with quarterbacks, they're usually picked top 3, top 4 as far as consensus players. Nobody thought about JJ McCarthy in November, December, January. Then all of a sudden he wins the Natty, and then you hear the Harbaugh brother come out and say he has the best combine I've ever seen. He's going to be a top pick in the draft.
He's the best quarterback in the draft. Thank you, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. He does all that.
Doing the Lord's work out here.
But he won't draft him, right?
No, because if he does, I will quit my fandom. I am so serious. Let these MFers trade Justin Herbert and take JJ McCarthy. I am out of there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I'm out of there if the Giants draft JJ McCarthy. So there you go. I'm leaving. I make it sound like JJ McCarthy's the Black Plague or something. But JJ
McCarthy is Ebola.
but no, Ebola. That's funny. No, I just want people to know that JJ McCarthy, he could be good, he could be bad. Quarterback is the hardest position to evaluate for any team, any scouts, because you really never know. But I think just JJ McCarthy being a riser is just not a good sign. So I wouldn't draft him top 5, top 10. If he goes past that, maybe you consider it if you really need one. But besides that, I don't want nothing to do with him.
I can't wait now for the Giants to take JJ McCarthy in the draft. And the very first person, I might even, I don't ever do this. I might FaceTime Brandon when
my phone will be off. Dude, I know so many people are going to blow up my phone that night if that happens. My phone will be off and I'll just be sitting in darkness in my house. Yeah.
Did I tell you the story of when the Chargers blew the game against the Jags?
No, you didn't. I don't think you did. What'd you do?
So I'm at a team dinner, right? For the team I coach, and the game's on, and I see it's the first quarter. So obviously I think the first drive we get the pick 6, next drive we get a stop, we go down and immediately score, something like that. So we're in the car, I'm running back to one of the other coaches. I was like, I am feeling good right now, right? Turn the game off for a bit. The lead obviously keeps growing and growing. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn this game off. I'm gonna go bust this coach's ass in 2K. Excuse my language, right? I'm playing 2K. I keep checking my phone still, obviously. 27-10. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We got this. All right. Play 2K. 27-13. All right.
Yeah, still whatever.
Let's go score here. Put the game out of reach. 27-20. All right, guys. Let's
This
score.
shit got real quick.
And then I checked my phone one more time. Finally, I think we're down. I don't think I actually don't remember what the score was, but I think we might have been up. I think we were up like 1 or 2 with the Jags driving. I'm like, bro, no effing way we are going to lose this game. I had a bet with one of the coaches that we were going to win. And the loser had to buy lunch before the next game. If we lose that game, I promise you, when I got 100 calls and text messages in the span of 20 minutes from everybody, like dog. I was like, bro, the next person that calls me, I'm gonna lose it. No, I'm just saying.
Oh, you said the next person. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the next person that calls me, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, real quick, I remember that day too because I was out to dinner at this nice restaurant, and I remember I saw the score originally, and it was 20 something to like I think 3 or 20 something to 3. I'm thinking, oh wow, the Chargers probably got this. This whatever. Chargers will move on. Who would they play? They would have played Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah. So I was out to dinner. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't check my phone for anything. I get home to see the highlights because I wanted to surprise myself to see what happened. And I watched that entire YouTube video and I said, no way the Chargers are going to blow it. And they blew that game in such an emphatic way. Oh man. I remember Joey Bosa was pissed off at one play.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Chargers just like, I know the memes are the memes, but the Chargers just objectively, of course, the memes are hilarious. Yeah. Like, I even like my friend Warner and Warner, they were trolling me in our group chat. Yeah. Admittedly, I laughed. Objectively, they're funny. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So hopefully the Chargers don't do nothing stupid in this draft. I don't think they will. They're under new management, right?
Yeah, we got
you got somebody from Baltimore.
Ortiz. Yeah.
So they know how to draft. They know how to do stuff pretty well. So yeah,
we're gonna take Roma Dunze over Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors at 5.
Oh my God! If that happens, I'm not gonna be mad for you though, because I mean, you get a guy.
I'm gonna be mad for myself.
You should be mad for yourself. Yeah,
you're gonna get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, but Marvin.
I wouldn't be mad either.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is a big possibility for the Chargers. As long as somebody trades with the Vikings, with the Cardinals, that's not named the Giants. So yeah, it can happen. Are you excited for this draft, dude, or what?
I am. I mean, as a Chargers fan, I'm excited. Just in general, I think this is a really fun draft class. And it's gonna be fun on draft night. I hope the draft is this Thursday, right?
Next Thursday.
So what, the 25th?
25th, yes, sir. Yeah,
I'm gonna be really pissed if the Lakers play on the 25th.
They do play that time. They play on Saturday.
Damn it!
Too. Yeah, but they play at 10 o'clock.
They play at 10. So like the draft starts at what, 8?
8. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Trevor, I might be a little late. Oh well.
Yeah. So, I'm excited for the draft. I think this is the most loaded draft we've seen in a long time. Since 2021, I think, as a matter of fact, or even as far as like 2018, if you want to use that, or 2020. So I think it's going to be a star-studded class. Hopefully, all bullshit aside, both of our teams make a good pick. We're all excited. We're all happy and giddy, and we're not sad, suffering, depressed because this franchise does something stupid that we root for. So, yeah.
Bo Nix to the Giants at number 6 overall. Anyway.
It's been real, Sean.
Thanks, bro, for hopping on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Sports Highline Show. If you guys are new, please make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. It's a fun week of draft content underway. After night 1 of the draft, our guy Warren, he's going to break down the winners and the losers from round 1 of the NFL draft. And you guys can also expect a bunch of great NBA playoff film breakdowns throughout the week as well. Mock draft content as well for the NBA. I kind of fell behind trying to get ready for the playoffs, but still doing our draft stuff. Going to get back on that pretty soon as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, guys. And until next time, everybody. See ya and peace.
Later.